CEO and co-founder of WickedRide. WickedRide is a premium motorcycle rental company. We started in 2014 with 2 Harley Davidsons. Currently we own over 800 motorcycles across India, present in 22 cities. There are about 3 aspects which I would say are very important when you're trying to take a global idea and trying to implement in a local situation. The first is the acceptance part of it. Whether there is an acceptance for an idea which has been globally successful. This you could think through in terms of surveys, pilots, multiple ways of approaching to this topic. Something which has worked globally would not work in India for whatever reason. So you have to have a very thorough understanding of market acceptance of your product which you're trying to implement. You can start off with simple aspects like conducting surveys. You could use a lot of tools like SurveyMonkey to prepare a questionnaire, send it across to friends and or the target audience as such. Once you're done with survey, you could probably think of implementing the solution in a very controlled environment. You could just try to localize the problem, try to give the solution and see how the acceptance has been, and you could also think of tweaking the model around it. Clearly understood there's a huge need for premium motorcycle rentals. There was no reason why one should not start it in India, but we understood there are a lot of challenges, right from legal, support functions. Nobody had worked on organizing this particular thing. Second aspect is regulations. Regulatory plays a very important role. The solution can be fantastic if there is no regulation around it. What happens if it's a grey area, if it's falling in a grey area? Are you legally allowed to do this? What happens if you start and there is a prohibition on certain things? Legalities around this business which you're trying to do. Is it allowed? Is it prohibited? Or if it falls into the grey area? If it is allowed, then it falls into the legal aspect of it. You have to apply for the right licenses. If it is prohibited, then you'll have to see how do you work with government authorities? Why is it prohibited? Is it an age-old law which needs revision? But as you know, it takes a lot of time. If you want to do something which is already prohibited, to change the statute as such, it's a long process. So you have to be very clear when you're starting the business, whether it's legally allowed or not allowed, or if it falls in the grey area. The third aspect would be understanding whether the support functions are available in the market. For instance, the concept of rental of motorcycles is legally allowed in India. There is a regulation around it. But the problem we faced was that nobody had applied for a license under this particular regulation, which meant that the government authorities were not aware of how to go about the route. So we had to closely work with government authorities to make them understand how to deal with this particular license, what is required to issue a license. It was a long process for us. We spent quite a bit of time with government authorities, taking them through the processes on issue of license, and we somehow managed over a period of time. So license was the biggest hurdle for us. Without license, the support function was not working for us. Without a license, the insurance was not covered, which means to say that if I'm renting a premium motorcycle to anyone and if there is an accident, one, it was not legal to do unless we have a license. Second, if there is an accident, the insurance would not cover it. So we went ahead identifying what was the regulation. We worked with the government authorities very closely, got the license. Now the market is open for everyone. Whatever you're dealing with, is there insurance to cover it? Because every business has a significant amount of risk. How do you cover the risk? Is there an insurance product available? Are there regulations around insurance? Because insurance in India is governed by IRDA, and IRDA is a very clear authority which says that what can be insured, what can't be insured. And you'll also have to talk to insurance companies to understand whether this risk can be covered, what is the cost of covering this risk. Most of the risk can be covered, comes at a cost. Whether the cost will make sense to your business model is something that you have to keep in mind. And the support function need not be just insurance. It can be whether availability of the parts. If you're trying to sell something which needs regular maintenance or support, and if you don't have access to it, the business can fall apart, or the cost of replacing this can become significantly high, which your business can't provide for. So all these 3 aspects, I'll just try to tell you how dealt with it. There was a support function available on insurance. It was not very easy for insurance companies to understand what was the risk around this business. So we had to work on technology wherein we set certain GPSs, crash alerts, so that the insurance companies could draw data and accordingly change the premium. So there was significant amount of time involved in realizing this in terms of licenses, bringing the support functions together, and also understanding the market. So once we put all these 3 aspects into one box, WickedRide was there, and it became a real solution which could allow anyone to rent a premium motorcycle like Harley Davidson at as low as 200 rupees an hour, which means that now one don't have to buy a big bike to experience it. So this is how we went ahead with bringing a global idea into a country like India, which is known for a lot of parameters, wherein each state is very different in terms of its culture, mindset, and acceptance of a product. And working with government offices which are typically known for red tapeism and bureaucracy as such. But we worked with government very closely. We told them what are the pain points, how the business will help government, how it will help the economy, and we brought the factors together and we had WickedRide.